based on everything going on in Nigeria about tribalism issue, that for some kind of way, politics has been able to exploit it. Let me rephrase it properly now. And the reason why I'm rephrasing is this: when do we become this aware of tribalism so deep like this that Lagos become the case study of what happened in the last election? Now my question is this: is it to blame the Igbos, or is it to blame the Yoruba, or is it to is moving forward is about still poking on people of thinking we can tell some people to live their life or to respect them and see how we can both coexist without not feel like we have to go on different ways? What do you think? I rephrase it because of what you share with me. Now, half of it is what I've learned from all this conversation is this. For me, in my own personal experience, I swear to God, one thing I found out is when you can inject yourself quickly out of the conversation, you will be able to understand where it's going and who is leading and what we're trying to understand in the conversation. Part of what I see you explaining just now is coming from a way of you've been a little bit not being known that you're being biased in what you're saying because you share an experience you have and you use it to prejudge the entire race, a culture. Now, I'm not judging you. The same way if you ask an Igbo that have a different experience about Yoruba people, how they deal with the Yoruba, you'll be shocked like, damn, Yoruba people are like that too. Now, what I'm saying is instead of us speaking on our own personal lapses of human being that God has given us, why can't we just coexist and even iron out the problem that we have? At the end of the day, the only reason why we're having these issues is because some people are able to have the power to tell us to fight about it. Some people don't even know the real story about what happened between Igbo and Yoruba. They say they know. If you ask them to really tell you about the Civil War, some people don't even know the Civil War. Why some people know the story, they don't even want to talk about it because of the trauma of their family lineage about these things. You see how deep this story that we want to pick about our own personal experience of saying an Igbo person might not help a Yoruba person because of this that's happening now. But who is making us talk about now? Who is gaining at the end of the day? Is it us that we've been coexisting for a long time, that we are doing fine? All of a sudden now, Igbos is coming saying they want to do this. Now, is it not the same Yoruba that was selling the land for them? So let's just assume yes, now Yoruba is awake because of this conversation that comes up. At the end of the day, who is still benefiting? Is it the same people that are fighting? Or the people that are making them to fight? Just think about it for a second. Now, everybody's awake. Let's just assume, yes, Yoruba want to take their land back. Yoruba want to take Lagos back, which is their right. At the end of the day, who is now benefiting again?
Okay. In a simple quote, when you get an house up, you bring in an house up to a house, and you decided to treat the house up as your own blood. And the house up still decide to do the other way around in the same way they have always portrayed an house up that house up do not, there is no way you can treat them, they will always do like house up. Doesn't want to make yourself like a kid of the house or a person of the house. What happens? That means you definitely go back to where you're coming from. Like the Yoruba will say, only amo bed. Go back. So now, there is nowhere he go will take you to. If Igbo feels they are part of Nigeria and they still want to be part of Nigeria, there should not be reason for them to actually find at every point in time to separate themselves from Nigeria.
Okay.
Now, you came to, let's use this as a critical example, the last election.
Okay.
Because of you feel it is our time, in which you are not playing your card very well. It's so funny how people think, this is the way things are meant to be run. Instead of this is the way things are supposed to be. In the last election, you feel, you are supposed to be the next president. When you people at every point in time you try to separate yourself from Nigeria, that you are not part of Nigeria. You are not part of Nigeria, but you still want to benefit from that same Nigeria. How's that going to work? And you still put your shoulder up and be like, if we don't do it, it cannot work. So if you don't do it, you have other tribes. Okay, let's even just break it a little. We have Igbo, Yoruba, and Hausa. That's like the major tribe we have in Nigeria. If you now go deep down, that's why you now have Tis, you have the Dibio, you have the likes, you have
Mhm.
out of all the tribe we have in Nigeria, it's only the Igbos that are always raising their shoulder that this belongs to them, that belongs to them, this belongs to them. And you are not even ready to play the card. So how will it work? It's definitely not going to work. But the only simple thing is if Igbo really needs to feel they are part of Nigeria, they need to bring their shoulders down. That's just it.
Mhm. I like that. One thing I won't take away from everything you said is about the shoulder part. But this is the thing. One thing I want to inject a little bit in that part of the shoulder part is at the end of the day, one thing I know based on my own research about it is a lot of people does not even understand the real story behind this strategy about tribalism that we talk about a lot in Nigeria. As at today, the most common one people talk about, the reason why we talk about is politics. When you remove politics, most of the time we don't have issue about our tribal issue war. Most of the reason why we have it is the politicians. Now, I'm not saying politicians instigate it. We always have it when there's election coming.
Mm-hmm.
Election is the reason why everybody believes that I'm from Igbo, I'm from North. And because the moment you won, everybody wants some things to be done in their own part. Now, unfortunately, which I'm saying that is changing, before Igbos does not criticize their leaders in the East. The focus is always more on Lagos because Lagos is the hub where everybody makes money. And you can't downplay where they feel like, okay, we're generating this amount of money. But again, like I said, I don't think I've seen any podcast lately or any conversation where people even talk about the history about these things itself. How many people even know the story? Now, the story is not a sweet one people always want to talk about. Trust me, there's nothing sweet about it. But how many youth of today that want to pick a side understand the story of picking a side with a personal experience that does not project the entire host? Now, this last election, if you remember, how many people vote that you know that they count? It's not even half of the numbers of the people in this country. How many people can use internet? Now, use that data to now quantify the real people living that they might not even go on internet about themselves. Do we even understand the kind of conversation of daily activities that Yoruba and Igbos and Hausa might be having? I've watched online where I see Yoruba people living in Igbo that they say, I've never had a problem. I don't know what people are saying. I've been here for many years. My wife is this. But we might not get to see that a lot. So what I'm saying is, for me, when this conversation about tribalism come on board, this is my personal experience. I'm always telling people like this. I don't downplay anybody's view because for me, the best way to enjoy conversation is to respect your view, not to downplay it. But me, I bring this my own critical part of saying, the part that I have to make sense in terms of making sure that people don't get to downplay the fact that Igbos still have work in Lagos. Let's just say a spade is spade. Who really make Alaba Alaba? Who make computer village computer village?
Concerning that question, what I want to say is this. The reason why government is because of policies. Do you understand? There's nothing you want to do. If there's no enabling environment, it will not thrive. Do you understand? Let's get things twisted. You get, just like we have in economics, you have the fiscal and the monetary policy. Do you understand? Even from the Bible days, when they came to collect tax, let me give you a bit of background. Jesus Christ was what's it called? He was performing the job, doing the role of the government. Now, what is the role of the government? To protect the life and property of the citizens. Everything the government does falls into those two categories. If they're giving you health care, protecting your life. If they're providing security for you, protecting your life. If they're giving you food, you understand, they also protect your life. To safeguard that there's no intrusion and all of that. So Jesus Christ went about renewing people's mind, preaching to them that, okay, the only way you guys can coexist well, you understand, that there wouldn't be issue is for you to love one another. So when you love yourselves, there's a bit of what's it called? You take away these unnecessary anger that will cause chaos. So Jesus Christ will gather people together, give them food, performing the role of the government. Jesus Christ went about healing people that were supposed to be ordinarily being in the hospital, overstretching government budgets. At the end of the day, when Caesar came, you get, the disciples wanted to fight with the tax collectors, and they're like, are you guys blind? Don't you see what Christ does? This guy, you understand? It's literally doing your duty. And he told one of the disciples, says, bring that money. The currency is like in those days, like what you see in what's it called, American pound, where the ruler of the day, where the face of the ruler of the day is on the currency. Do you understand? So not like Nigeria where we have euros on whatever. Those days is the ruler. So just the way you have a Prince Charles on the pound now and what have you. I said, whose face is on the whatever? And he said, it's Caesar. And he said, give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. So Christ himself recognized the fact that government, you don't fuck with them. So bringing that back to this conversation is this: when you're in a place, if you want your business to thrive, you need to cohabit and understand the people you are living with. They can do their business in Lagos. Their business could thrive because they are enabling environment. Because government has made that place. They've created that enabling environment, and the people had also played their part in accommodating them. What they do in Southwest, sorry to say, they dare not try in the North. I've traveled. I can tell you that like 4 or 5 states I've not spent a week in Nigeria. Because my job, I travel a lot. I mix with people, locals. You understand? When I'm in a place, constructed for 3-4 months, I mix with them, interact with them. You don't fuck with the Northerners. You don't. And people know, so you don't cross that path. But over time, because of the liberalism of the average Yoruba man, the Southwesterners, they're very liberal people there. And I tell people this a lot. Let me say and state a category. I told Olumide sometime. I say, I'll give you facts, and that's me for you. I don't argue blindly. When you buy a car, and you go and process your documents, what they give to you in your this proof of ownership, certificate of ownership, it means that car belongs to you. It is yours. Come out me. But if you buy a land in Lagos, in Nigeria, the law is that the government owns the land, federal government, and by extension the state government. So when you buy a land, what they give to you is certificate of occupancy. Occupy it. 99 years. Government can wake up one day and say, we want to make use of this land. What they will just do is to compensate you. And it's at their discretion. So just imagine that, okay, a land has been apportioned for agrarian purposes, maybe for farming. I went to go and build, and you build like 3 mansions and build shopping mall. And then they now say, okay, they want to make use of the land, and you're saying, government. They brought down my mansion and they're giving me a token. It's at their discretion. So the thing is, we need to just be very sensitive and be very, be very smart in dealing with things and issues. We need to apply what they call emotional intelligence into so many things. Lagos is thriving. The Igbos are thriving in Lagos. Their business is growing. It is because the people of Lagos, the Southwesterners, accommodated
and embraced them,
love them, and give them the environment. Sorry to say, in all the 5 eastern states, I can tell you that I've been to Enugu. I've been to all. If you take away Enugu, which is about the most, I think, in my own opinion, most developed, then you go to Anambra. I'm not sure they really can thrive in that whatever. Kidnapping is on the eye. So many issues of insecurity and what have you. What they do in Lagos, I'm sure they dare not try it over there. You understand? So why they are here in Lagos is because Lagos or Southwest is actually helping their business to thrive, to flourish. So when you're there and people are accommodated you, and be sensitive enough to live with them, and so not just now playing on trying to talk down on their person, on their intelligence, and saying now be mumu now, that's the usual thing. We don't buy all of that land finish. The government can wake up one day, and that is just there. You are triggering some buttons instead of you to allow some sleeping dog lies or whatever. You are just wakening the beast in people. Do you understand? Because now you are taking them for granted. What they've not even thought of for years, you are bringing them, making them feel or think that they are fools. For like recently now, another fact. A lot of streets in Ajogunle, they changed the names. You can fact check from Igbo to majority of them Igbo names. They've changed them to Yoruba names now. And it was even there I went to read and I meant to make research, and I discovered that when you apply for streets in Lagos or in Nigeria, they give you streets. They allot that street to you. You have to be paying a certain amount yearly. You understand? So if this street is Olumide or Yebanji Street, you're supposed to be paying to the government yearly. How many people pays? So a lot of people just register, they give you the what's it called, and they go and sleep, and then the street becomes theirs. So these are the things you're awakening in people. You understand? So a lot of people go like, this is our whatever. Okay, the name, they say, it's somebody's street. Okay, are they doing what they're supposed to do? Have they paid? So they can apply. I just use that as an example. So the thing is, I actually don't believe in religion. Like, I don't do tribalism, so I don't, but we should be able to be smart enough to know where to draw the line. You get? There's some statements that, for me, are foolish. They're not statements you should, like, there's a what's it called? An adage that says, let me translate it. That there are some things that, as an adult, you don't want out. Even when you are pushed to say, you allow it rotting. It's not because you cannot say, but the effects of such things can actually destroy a lot of things. So the negative impact will be much more than the positive impact. So those are what I feel about this matter. So when I say Lagos, there's a tribalism, I just feel that they should know where to draw the line. Everybody should know where to draw the line. If I go to the north, I respect myself. Sincerely, I mix with them. I know how I do my thing. I know when to, tackle my thing and whatever. I respect myself. If I'm this in the east, I'm a bit liberal. I could still move about, I know their thing, I understand their culture, the things about, the ability to bargain, money thing and whatever. But when I'm here, I can do anyhow. And because we are free, a lot of people do that here. Imagine the statement Abela mentioned the other time that Lagos is a no man's land. How can you make such statements that Lagos is a no man's land? Can anybody now, a Yoruba person or a Southwestern person now say that about, okay, Enugu is a no man's land. Whatever is that. So that's what I just feel. We should know when to draw the line. We should know what to say and what not to say. So by that, a lot of things will fall into place. So that's my own submission. No?
So, in my own opinion, recently, Ruben Abati said something on a live program, saying, and he even give an example of a senior or a Nigerian former minister, late blessed memory, that even after getting married to one of their daughters, he tries to purchase a property for them. And the second day, one of their program handler was trying to press Ruben Abati, probably to change his words. And I love what Ruben Abati did. And I was like, I said what I said. If anybody has any opinion or any objection, they can bring it and they can bring their facts. Good. Now, it's not even only Igbo that are tribalistic. We all in Nigeria are tribalistic, because I've traveled to North as well, and I understand the fact that here in the Yoruba land, we apportion a particular place for the Northerners, which we call Sabo or Sabongeri. If you go to the north, the same place is apportioned to a foreigner.
Oh.
Yes. That's Sabo. Yes, that's Sabongeri in the north. You go to Kano.
Like a cluster, that's your same people.
Go to Kano, go
go
to Kaduna, go to different places in the north. There is Sabo. The Sabo that is a portion for them. Like they say, oh, the northern destroyed, destroy Akko in the north. When you go to Sabo, you can take Akko and do whatever you want to do in Sabo.
Wow.
So it's just like the way when the Hausas were coming in to the southwest, the way you have treated them by creating a space for them, by keeping them on their at the side
Mm-hmm.
is the same way they have actually done to you in their own land too. So
Wow.
now, I do not have fact for this, but I think since all my time in the eastern part of the country, I do not see if the Igbos created such a place for the Hausas.
Mm.
In as much as I would have loved to be liberal with this, I still want history to speak about them very well. It is so glaring when you go to Igbo land. They hardly sell their property to anybody aside from an Igbo.
Mm.
So now tell me, how can you now come to another man's land and say another man's land is no man's land? It's just so wrong.
Mm.
It's just so wrong. So when you now talk of the Igbos made Alaba, the Igbos made Festac, the Igbos are the one that make what's it called, real estate to thrive in Lagos State. If we as don't let me use we, if the Yorubas have decided not to sell their land to Igbo, would their business thrive? Or if they have decided to do the same they have done in their own states, as they have decided to hold to their own property and hold to their own community, that if we have to do this, we have to be the sole decider in our community, would their business thrive in Lagos?
Mm.
So for them, they feel, oh, we are there, we are doing business there, we are taking advantage of them, in which you are building the Yoruba states, and you have decided not to build your own state because you are bringing your own money here, and you have decided not to allow people to bring their own money to your own state to make your own state grow. So who is losing? The Yorubas are gaining. Back to that your question you asked me, that who is losing, who is gaining? The Yorubas are gaining, while the Igbos are losing. Simple as ABC. No cap.
This one that you ended with, Yoruba again, you would have losing. That one I don't expect it though.
Yes, now, because if you look at it, we
I did not expect that
have
one.
housing deficit in Nigeria.
Okay.
I'm just going to use real estate as an example.
Okay.
We have housing deficit in Nigeria.
Okay.
And people are doing a lot of housing construction in Lagos State, which means we are reducing the housing deficit in the southwest, in Lagos in particular. So, and you have held on to your own land by not allowing people to do business on your own land. So,
but let me give
I
you
ask
this.
you
Let
again,
me
who is losing, who is gaining?
let me give you this illustration. If you say that, that means if a Yoruba man goes to America and buy a house, just because he decided to buy a house and do business there, does that mean he's losing?
It's not losing, it's contributing to the American.
And so how does the narrative now change for an Igbo man in Lagos? That it seems like they're losing.
The narrative is excuse me. The narrative is you are saying Yoruba is no man's land, but you are investing in that no man's land because you believe it's a no man's land. But in your own state, you have refused with your ego.
Simple and straight. You are actually contributing to the economy of the state because you are investing. See, because
but how are they not losing? That's my question. When you guys feel like make it look like they are losing.
Okay, now when you come, when you build, you take your money, you take it back. Okay, now let's say a Yoruba man buys that property. The property is his own for life. If you take the money and you are not investing the money back in your state, are you gaining?
I don't understand that last logic you're saying, but what I'm trying to bring out is the fact that the narrative. Okay, let me hear the buttressing part.
Now what I want to say is this: if don't let me use an moment. If a particular tribe builds in another state, now the thing is this: if I am a Yoruba person and I go to the east to build a house or set up a business, the truth is this: I've actually contributed to the economy of that state because my money will move from where it was to the states where I'm investing. Number one, let's use building as an example. If I buy a land, I'm not buying the land from an outsider. The land is from an Igbo. Let me say the east now. A particular state in the east now. I'm actually giving the money to a particular family or to an individual. So the money stays there. That particular individual goes to the market or settles his family. That's number one. Most the major part of the material that we use to build, I'll buy it from that same environment. So meaning somebody that had blocks sitting down that couldn't sell for as long as the thing might be sitting, I'll pack his blocks, I'll buy cement, I'll buy sand, also contributing to that whatever. But then that particular person gets home, he's like, praise God, though. Somebody bought stuffs. He gives money to his wife. So the money circulates in that same economy. The wife goes to the shop, goes to the market, buy what's it called, cooking ingredients, buy this, buy that. You get. So that is that angle. That is that angle. Secondly, when I'm done bringing my money, putting my investments in there, the government benefits. So the government that has been earning, let's say, a 10,000 naira tax, they have the ability to earn much more than a 10,000 because my business is taxable. Even if it is a housing project, I'm supposed to pay what they call land use charge that goes into the
But can I ask you this?
Yes.
What do you think makes people not to want to build in their own land based on you traveling around?
Now, based on my own experience, and I'll say this without any ambiguity. If you put the 5 states together and tell them to pick a leader, it will be extremely difficult for an Igbo man. It has never been done before. For an Igbo man to have a single frontier, speaking to one voice. So what I've just discovered is this: they really don't have that cohesion. Where you see them having that cohesion is when they are outside the southwest and southeast, when they are probably in another region. That's where you see that Igbo. Now, an Igbo man, fact check this, an Igbo man doesn't really believe that an Ebonyi person is an Igbo. Ask anywhere. They'll tell you they're foreigners. You get? They'll tell you they're foreigners. Something happened recently, I think was about two months ago. The video went viral on social media. They brought this VC from an Ebonyi, is an Ebonyi man. And I think they took him to either Anambra or Enugu to one of the universities to become the VC. He said, no. If I don't invest you, that it's not going to be possible. They suspended that, whatever. They fought, and their reason is because you cannot bring an outsider.
Wow.
Yes, to come and be a VC, a vice chancellor, academic community, academic. You expect the unions, you expect the people fighting against these people to be exposed, to be well learned. And I think as I speak to you, the matter has not been resolved. So a typical Igbo man does not believe that an Ebonyi man, an exam man, I'm talking about local governments in Ebonyi now. You have Ezangbo, Omuazara, Onweke, and all of this. They believe that they are really, and even if you go to some part of some part of Ebonyi State, you have Igbos that are Hausa. They speak Hausa. You understand? But generally they speak the Igbo. So within them, there's no unity. You get? And that's why it might be very difficult for them to agree and move things forward. I always refer to the Bible. Because that's our basis and foundation. It says, can anything move forward except we agree? So the Igbo man, on the average, don't have this whatever to. If you check most of the kidnapping cases, you found so many. I'm not trying to limit that to the Igbos. It happens almost everywhere. But most of the kidnapping cases, you find younger brother reporting his his elder brother, giving out the whatever to people that will come and arm him and what have you. So those are the things I feel within them. There's no whatever. When Peter Obi, you can fact check this. When Peter Obi was the governor of Anambra State, they never liked him. If you still dig the Twitter now, you find a lot of shit, a lot of things spoken about Peter Obi. I was squandering their money. I was not a whole what's it called, the whole healthcare sector. I think they were in over a year strike. It was not paying them. Fact check. You understand? But suddenly, so if you dig Twitter, you see what I'm saying. There's nothing that can be hidden online. You get to find everything. But now they just see it as an opportunity, like it's our turn. Peter Obi. So the man that they once castigated now became a saint. You get? They projected him as a saint just for them to, have that whatever. So that's what I feel. There's no unity within them. And that's one thing the Yorubas will not. They have this unity when you see them outside their region because they believe that okay, we're outside, let's make ourselves one. Let's because we're in another man's region, another what's it called. But within them, if you going back home, forget it. So that's why I feel a lot of, and that's why the economy will never develop because it's just like in Nigeria now taking money into America. You understand? You are paying taxes into the whatever. You are building companies in America. You are employing the locals there. The American economy will be growing. But if you bring the money back home, you take people off the street. You reduce the unemployment rate. The government will make more money. They will have more money to build roads through your taxes and whatever. And by GDP, the country progresses. So that is it.
So to buttress your point, when you said there is no coexistence between them,
Yeah.
I would like to ask a question.
Okay, good.
The question I would like to ask the general public is, if you ask me, this Monday stay at home that has been happening, for what cause are you fighting this? Have they asked yourself, is this the right way to fight this cause? No. We all know the right way. If you want to leave Nigeria, as it has been agreed that, maybe after 100 years, you can leave. This, that, after the amalgamation, 100 years, you can leave. Is that the right way to go? No. You have representatives. You have representatives in Federal House of Representatives. You have representatives in the Senate. Why don't you go through them for them to do the right thing, for them to vote, for them to canvass people who can vote for them in the House of Representatives and probably get the right channel for you to go? But you said no. And now you are putting your own economy, you are downgrading your own economy, and you want to come to another person's economy and say, because it's no man's land, you want to claim it. I don't know how that is going to work.
But I want to elaborate more to ask you that, bro, about this Ebonyi people with the Igbo. What, in your own view, what do you mean by saying they are not Igbo?
I didn't say that.
You said to an Igbo person.
I said the Igbos. That is what they say. I'm only referring what they are saying. If you interrogate or interview the Igbos, you understand. If you speak with them and ask for their opinion, they do not see an Ezaman, you understand, as or anybody from Ebonyi, because they believe that Ebonyi was later created, carved out, and they believe that a bit of what's it called, Ogoja people. I think if you there's even an Ogoja road in Ebonyi, within Ebonyi. That road leads to Ogoja Street, stretches down to the governor's governor's office or something. That's Ogoja road and what have you. So they really don't see, because I think in their, I don't know, but I think what they feel is, carving people from Akwa Ibom, and what have you. So I don't know, for whatever
reason. It's more or
reason.
less of what this man always do say. Ansari Dokubo, you always say, I'm not this, I'm Ijo, I'm not, like all those kind of things. So like probably after breaking a particular state into two, so they feel, because they are being broken away, we are not part of them. We are.
So out of the five states, if you see, so an Anambra man feels is more Igbo than an Ebonyi person, and Enugu man feels is more Igbo, you understand, than an Ebonyi person. An Owerri person feels that is more Igbo, you get, than an Ebonyi person. Then an Anambra feels is more Igbo than an Owerri person. Do you get? So there's this amongst them. I don't know for whatever reason. So that's it. I'm not even. This is not what I'm saying. It is what they are saying. So I'm only re-echoing it. Wow.
Man, that's not planned, but it's been hell of a conversation that it turns a lot of knowledge. Even me just listening to that, I've learned a lot that I don't even know. And the fact that you're sharing all those things that have happened, thank God that you've traveled all those places is a wonderful experience that I've never had. Like, I don't even know Igbos have that in-house issue about who is more Igbo and not Igbo. I never even knew that something like that exists. Like, I don't see it exist. But man, we've dragged this, man. We really, really dragged it. And I enjoy you guys being vulnerable enough to share some things. Thank you, thank you, thank you. At least we end up having a podcast section in Nigeria, live in Lekki. Some days to the end of Christmas. So shout out to everybody that give us some two words into it.